So welcome everybody to the Purity Trends Talk. I'm Julie, the Vice President of Sales and Marketing at Purity Life.
And I'm Erin Macklin, Trade Marketing Manager.
So today we're going to do it, as Erin said, in a different style. Usually we always have a PowerPoint out there, so don't worry, it's recorded and we'll have some data to send you after. We wanted to make it a little bit more interactive, more of a conversation, but we have a load of great data and information for you. So
and lots of products to tie into it too, to make it real tangible for you guys.
So, Erin, let's talk about what categories we're going to go through
We'll give you an idea. So obviously we're here to talk about trends. We've got 6 main topics that we want to go through. So we're going to go through prevention and healthy aging, performance, ultra personalization, purpose-driven and certifications, efficacy over natural. And then we're going to have a special guest come in and tell us a little bit about the TikTok trends. We're excited about that too.
And just to give you a little bit of an overarching of what are the driven points, or what our customers or what brands should be attentive on when we're talking of, we always like to say the overarching of all the trends we're going to talk to you about. There's really 2 words you should remember is prevention and performance. And everything that we're going to talk about will fall into those 2 buckets, basically. So in the past year, we've been through a couple of change and some rough events. We won't mention the name because that's past. But it really impacted people on how they see, how they take ownership of their health. And that's all under that prevention kind of umbrella, I would say. And under that prevention, we talk about going from sick care to how can I take ownership of my health? How can I take care every day? What are the changes I can do to really make sure that I'm going to be healthy and I'm going to live longer with that longevity word? That is a
longevity. I think that's the key word, right? Everybody's talking longevity, but I think what's changing is people are really saying, okay, so I'm going to live longer. I'm going to make this happen. How am I going to do this in a way that I actually want to live longer? How am I going to be healthy and happy longer? So that's such a great thing that we can grab onto and really help our customers now that they're kind of opening their minds to this idea.
And it really touches every category that we sell or we have in our store. So we're going to walk you through that, and just at an other eye level, and we won't touch that, but all the wearables are a great example of that. Whoop, your Apple Watch, so you can see your heart rate, monitor your sleep. So these have been like significantly increasing in sales because, again, people want to have ownership of how can I impact my health. Another example of that we use at Purity is an app called Maple, where you can talk to a doctor right on your phone. You get your prescription that is sent to your office or home, or directly to your wherever you want it to be sent, pharmacy. Yeah. So more and more people are coming to us to say, hey, what can I do to be healthier? So they don't wait to say, I have a cold, my immune system is totally down, what can I do? They're really going to come to you to understand how they can really get better in that prevention.
And I think the biggest difference with this digital age where so many people have those wearables is they're coming with their own information already. So it's not like, okay, I'm going to sit back and wait for my next doctor's appointment and then figure out what I want to do. It's, well, I've really been tracking this and I'm seeing differences in my sleep, or I'm seeing differences in my heart rate. Yeah. And now I'm going in and I'm talking to the person in the store, I'm talking to my doctor, my naturopath, and I'm already armed. Indicators. I'm already going to come in telling you, this is what I'm seeing. So it's a total change in how you kind of react to people, right? Yeah. They're so armed more than they've ever been before.
And it's very interesting, I would say, for everybody, because it's so better when you can prevent than, oh God, it's too late and what am I going to do, right?
With so the opportunity.
Absolutely.
To have that kind of an canary in the coal mine kind of.
Yeah, exactly. So if we get into like the first, we'll talk about performance later when we get into our categories, but prevention is pretty setting up that stage that we wanted
so under this kind of prevention, healthy aging, we've got a bunch of subtopics. So our first one's going to be better for you.
Yeah, and low sugar. So we have some example here on the table, but basically not news to any of you. I'm sure low sugar has been on the radar for couple of years now. And more, that's where everybody that, even though you start with, I've never exercised, never took care of my health, that's where they start right now. They're looking at how can I decrease my sugar intake, because there's so much impact on when you eat too much sugar. And it's easy to find options such as, and again, in different categories.
Yeah.
So we have, Smart Sweet that has their candies. We all know Smart Sweet. They came up with some innovation as well.
New caramels.
Yeah, exactly. And the Barbie. So that was one of the big one that really started also that conversation about low sugar. The other thing I want to bring in under that umbrella as well is we don't hear about, as much as keto and all those strict.
That's a good point.
Yeah, diet, because it's too niche.
And again, much broader. And just a better for you way.
Yes, but the low sugar, no sugar is really high on top of the ranking when people look at, again, every categories.
Yeah.
Within that category, we sort of incorporated all the coffee mushrooms as well.
It's like mush up.
Yes, again, no sugar, but people are looking for a type of drink that is fun. The greens, AG1, I think we talked about that last time, but it's everywhere. And I would ask who's taking AG1 in the room. I won't do that because we have so much other green outfit.
I was like, who's doing it? Who's taking greens?
Yeah, who's taking greens? Yeah.
There we go. So that's obviously had a resurgence. We did talk about that last time, about how it's really growing. It was so popular back in the day, and then it kind of died, and now all of a sudden everybody wants their greens again.
Yeah, it wasn't sexy anymore until AG1 came back, right? And then, not came back, but just came to the world.
Well, and they hit all the social, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They have $1 million, I think, a day or some, like it's crazy numbers that they can. That's why it's on every podcast, and you see it everywhere as soon as you pop your phone.
Once they find you, you'll see them everywhere, right?
Yeah.
They'll find you on everything.
So highly encourage that in your store you have some passive demos of greens. So you give them opportunity to have something else, because AG1 compared to, we have 2 brands here, but there's many more. Organic Tradition, BioSteel has theirs. Those products actually are not $100 a month.
Yeah.
Right? Because you also have to think that people are looking at their budget as well. They want to invest in their health, but they have to be cognizant of, and they want to buy in food and supplements and beauty and the natural. So you have to give them option that they also can afford.
Well, when everything's jumped, when their basic food, their basic daily food has jumped up in price, then there's only so much that they can put towards supplements. So we need to figure out how to make sure that they're still putting that amount towards supplements and making those choices.
Yeah, and quickly, others that are sort of our amazing. Like, they're fun. Bob Snail, they were at the Anaheim show too, so they're coming up with their advent calendar kind of thing. Super fun. I mean, you have a display of that in the store, and again, it's kind of that candy that is very healthy as well, low sugar.
Yeah, and good for kids too. This is like good for school lunches. Totally okay for school lunches, so it's a nice option there.
Forex Better Chocolate. I mean, low sugar chocolate or no sugar is always a big winner. So that's one call out. And you probably know Chaw's organic with all their great products. This one is great. You just pop the seal, you whip it, and it's your thick organic whipped cream. So
coconut whipped cream, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
and it really is that simple. We did it not that long ago.
Yes.
Great.
So
I do want to do a quick shout out to one of the things that we saw when we were in CHFA West in Anaheim recently was just this big insurgence of honey products and bee products.
Yes,
and that was in foods. That was in kind of what you'd expect. Yeah. But it's also obviously in, we saw it a lot in drinks too, and face care, just lots and lots of bees and honey. So something like that would be good to watch out for and make sure you've got in the store as well.
Definitely an awareness with that. And yes, it is a sugar, but if you really don't want to give up on certain sugar, that's the one that
still
is
a good,
more
better
pure.
for you option in a lot of scenarios, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So now,
a
new
second
special
kind of
one,
subtopic within prevention and healthy aging. We've probably heard of Ozempic. This is another one that's hitting, and the GLP-1s. So much attention being brought to that. And I think it's really bringing a lot more of people kind of looking again, not that it ever died, but into weight loss. So many people are now thinking about that again. Well, they have these drugs, so what can I do naturally? And I think in health food stores, this has always been one of those items that's drawn in people that maybe aren't always used to coming in. So it's always kind of a good opener. But with all of this attention to these new drugs, it's really gaining a lot more traction as well.
Yeah, it really brings that back. And also when we think about longevity, definitely people, realize that a certain healthier weight still has an impact on your overall health. But definitely Ozempic is, again, everywhere. And people are looking into other natural option. And that's why you probably seen in your store a high demand in berberine, which is the natural Ozempic. And that's why it came, right back on the market. In the past two trend stock, we saw that increase, but Ozempic was not out there yet. And it's really funny, it sort of came before, and then Ozempic came, and then it just like even increased that demand. So
and it's all about curbing hunger. Like, I think that's the biggest thing that people are seeing, right? How am I going to curb my hunger? How am I going to balance those blood glucose levels? And we all know there's alternatives to that, right? We don't need to go onto Ozempic or these other drugs that have these other side effects. Something new to the market is this Metavo. So it comes in a powder, but it also comes in capsules. And it has an ingredient in it called AVO-B, which is from avocados. And that really has an effect on kind of balancing those blood sugar levels and helping to curb that hunger. So that's a natural option. Absolutely. But with this kind of stuff, I think it's also just such a great opportunity to say, yeah, we've got these products that can support, but let's think about it in more of a holistic idea. What are the other things that we can do? Can we use some protein? Can we make sure that your vitamin levels are proper? Maybe that's what's causing your hunger. We all know how to have those kind of conversations on a broader scale. And then you're increasing basket size, and you're doing things that are going to bring people back because you're making an impact. They're going to see those results. So we have opportunities from these Ozempics and things like that.
Yeah, and that category, people are not looking for necessarily like that magic pill. It's a very different mindset than before. It's really, again, for that longevity and taking ownership of their health. Really, it's not, I need a pill and everything's going to disappear suddenly, right? So this
Metavo is actually bottled and packaged right in BC.
So another category, digestion, the overall, everything that goes under that cover. I think it's for the overall body comfort, I call it that way, that people are wanting to be able to perform, but so you need to feel good from head to toe. And this part is actually very important.
Core, gut.
Yeah, exactly. And as everybody knows, it's sort of your second brain, so it needs to work really well. So just high top level probiotics, enzymes are really back in such a high demand as well. And everything that is under that, I would say, that category that helps you to just feel good in your gut. And there's a sort of a correlation with the decline a little bit of the plant-based protein, because a lot of people realize that it created a lot of bloating and side effects. So there's a little bit of a correlation of those together as well.
And to kind of add on to that probiotic and digestive,
fiber,
a lot of attention just to the overall microbiome. Right? The whole body microbiome. How can we make sure that we're kind of keeping it healthy and keeping it running? And you're seeing that now marketed with different products that are talking about that. Again, in Anaheim, we saw diapers and wipes that had probiotics in them to kind of help with that. We have a toothpaste, toothpaste, and that's one of their marketing pieces too, is like, hey, we don't have all of the garbage in there that's going to kill off everything. Yeah. We want to reserve your microbiome and make sure that this is all going to be healthy as it's part of your entire immune system, and so much more beyond that, right? Your mental health and everything. So,
and speaking about sort of that mouth health, your microbiome, there's also a big trend and focus on whitening of your teeth, but using something that is more natural that will not impact, your gut, because the majority of the products on the market are really strong. They do the job, but a little bit too much. The scrubbing is a little too intensive. So Coca Smile is one of the new brand, and they have that gel to whitening your teeth, but they also have the strips, and I've tried them. They stay on really well. So they're really easy to use, and it's a nice addition for your oral care department. It's something fun. And definitely when, we talked way back when about natural industry and where everybody started, it was deodorant and toothpaste. So now we have the chance to have something that we can definitely impact the market, because what's on the market is absolutely, when you look at the ingredients, it's scary. So this is safe. So there you go.
So still within that prevention and healthy aging idea, sleep, brain, mental health, this longevity, and this, as people are aging, they're really wanting to make sure that they're seeing the declines in their cognitive health. Their word recall is not as strong. Simple things like that people are noticing, and they really want to make sure that they've got that youthful brain.
Yeah.
And how can we do that? What are the kinds of things that we can do with that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, it's a simple pulling in some essential fatty acids, aqua omega. Is this one the?
Make sure the connection are really working
Yeah.
well.
Freshfield has vegan omega-3. So it's an ocean-saving omega. And this is actually going to be a finalist in the Launchpad, CHFA Launchpad. So that's one to look out for.
Natural Stack.
Natural Stacks is great. So they've got the MagTech. They also have a GABA. They have a neuro brain health one as well.
Yep.
Really good. The nice thing about these ones is that all of the ingredients are high enough to really be active levels. So really good, strong
Yeah,
products.
yeah, and it started very early. I think we hear more and more about cognitive issues, dementia, and all of that. I think it's no longer like hidden, and people are coming for those products. So again, it's good to call it out, cognitive health. And there's different options, and it's great that there's different delivery system. You have either for sleep or for that cognitive health, you have liquids. And one that is really also good is a beekeeper. So it's kind of a cross of that honey trend, but also really works on your cognitive health. And it's easy. It's a little liquid. You just
so those ones are little shots. It's called Brain Fuel.
I like the word shots. That's perfect.
And I think in your store, you really need to think about how, again, you market this. How are we going to call out these people that are walking in your store, the people that are on your online shop? And it's not necessarily enough to just say, hey, sleep, mental health. We need people walking in the store and seeing signs that say, did you forget what you came in for today? Yes. Here's all of the products in that kind of shelf that have now drawn you into it. So think of clever ways like that. You've really got to ask the questions and get to them in the right way, because people aren't necessarily just going to walk into that section and be, okay, that's what I need.
And also when we think about menopause or perimenopause, that's part of symptoms, right? Memory is some little words are starting to evade your brain. So it's also really good to think about that cross-merchandising in your aisle. Menopause product, maybe sometimes you might forget something and have that cognitive health and memory support.
Yeah. So, and that draws it back to the personalization that we're going to come to a bit later, but targeting those certain things. The great thing about people really thinking about prevention and longevity is that you can also come to them in a frame of the chronic conditions. So historically, it's often hard to sell things for heart health and those kind of conditions. But now that people are really thinking about it and thinking, okay, I really want to make sure that I'm around for 20, 30, 40, 50 more years, it's an easy upsell to say, okay, great, we've targeted the memory. Have you really thought about what core is going on here? Like, we need to make sure that your heart is going to be strong for that long as well.
I like the analogy of a house. So you can put all the nicest furniture in your living room, but if the base of your house is not, the foundation is not solid, everything's going to collapse. So if your heart, your arteries are not functioning well, right, it's not sexy, but it's still the base. You need a strong heart.
Yeah.
And again, within that prevention, it's everything people want to know when they look at their watch and their heart rate is out of control and they go to the doctor and they hear, whoa, there's something going on with your heart. You need to increase your activities or this and that. And these are products that are really important and will come back to being, in demand for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, now into, we talk about a lot of supplements and we didn't talk a lot about the beauty side of things. So very passionate about that portion as well. What do we see in that prevention and, skincare? Well, I'm going to put a little scenario or image within you and you'll realize what's going on right now. So we typically, we're used to have lots of conversation, meeting people. So when I'm talking, I'm looking at you. I see you. I don't see myself, right? So
you don't have to worry about that.
I don't have to worry about that, or I don't see it every minute. But when you're on a Zoom, Teams, all those calls, what's happening? I see my face, I see your face, I see yours. And I start comparing myself. And I'm like, oh God, nice smile. My teeth are needing a little bit of a whitening. And oh my God, wow, nice glow. And I look at myself, oh, I look a little pale today. And it's proven, and it's called the Zoom Boom. That's a word that has been created to really explain that comparison. So the high demand, and even dermatologists on surgeries, all the Botox and extra that has quadruple in the last even years. That's a direct correlation of that. And even in the gentlemen's, there's more and more plastic surgeries because they see the same thing. They see their counterpart and say, oh, he's 50, but he kind of look a little younger than me. And it's all that we see constantly. It's not once in a while. It's always on our face. So that's one of the, I would say, overarching, it's a big trend. People are looking at themselves, and that drives the demand into those anti-aging products, reducing the wrinkles, and also the glow, all of those trends. So the vitamin C, hyaluronic acid, we talk about bakuchiol, all of those ingredients that will help you to keep a glowing skin and preventing aging. So that would be
So we have a number of products that are going to hit some of those key ingredients, but also some really interesting stuff. Actually, I'm just going to go straight to Pacifica here.
Go ahead.
So Pacifica is coming out with a new line that's called Future Youth. So again, when you start thinking about this idea that people are thinking of longevity and what am I going to look like in the future, they've really captured that and been able to just write that right on their materials. Their marketing's fantastic.
Which is important because when people walk in all the aisle and there are so many options, they get a little confused on what they should take. So smart for certain brands, one like Pacifica, because they tell you right away and they call out either the active ingredients that are really key. Yeah. So that helps you and helps you to remember also, because when you have a bunch of brands that you sell, it's easier to recall that. That's true.
They've even written on these products, future-proof your skin. So they've done a really good job with that. They have some regular creams. They've got some serums, eye wash.
Yeah, exactly. And for those trends, again, that are the eyebrows and the lash extensions that are still really big, you have great products too in Pacifica, which they have those lashes that makes them, well, I wouldn't say grow, but because of peptides in there that really stimulate. Definitely.
Within their mascaras and whatnot.
Exactly. Yeah. And also some plumping, for the lips instead of fillers and all of that. Not that, it's all good. Everybody is their own person. But if you want something, an alternative that is natural, they do have those products. So again, you can call that out in your store, mentioning, hey, you're looking for plumper skin, for lips. Here's the product for you.
Keywords is so important. Like plumping is such a big one, right? I mean, people see that and they can immediately okay, I know what that is. That seems fresh and young.
Yeah.
Pacifica, Weleda is rebranding a couple of their lines. So their pomegranate line, they're switching and they're saying plumping all over that one too. Definitely check out that stuff from Weleda.
And last that we want to bring up, again, we'll talk about later about TikTok, but just an example, the air oil of Weleda, the rosemary, went crazy on TikTok. This product has been forever. I think it's as long as Weleda has existed. They never changed the formula, but somebody on TikTok went and explained how to use it, and it's crazy. It's back on shelf. So, bringing up the trends with TikTok, the importance, but also just to say that it's very important that, even on the face care side of things, that you really emphasize on what prevents the aging and the glowing. So that's really what to capture. And the key ingredients, hyaluronic acid, we're calling a lot of peptides to help the skin to stay plumped. Vitamin C is still really hot. So look up for those ingredients. Yeah.
Vitamin C. Oh, there's plumping again. We should show this one. That's the Pacifica Plumping Gloss. So again, where they've written it right on. Retinol options as well.
Yeah, exactly. Now that we talked about that prevention, we're going to get into performance, which is, I would say, I'll start at the high level. Performance will include everything that helps somebody to be better at what they do. So we talk automatically or think automatically with the sports category.
Right.
I was in the past talks, we did ask everybody or to suggest heavily to create that section in your store. And more than ever, you absolutely need to have a solid category option in there because people want to perform better in their walk, their run, their yoga, their Pilates, their CrossFit, their bodybuilding, in anything. And we got some great numbers from the Nielsen data, actually, and that's from the U.S. But just to give you an idea of the size of that market, and one of the category that is growing, has been growing, and you're going to see this coming here, is we talk about hydration. I think that everybody of you that came to the last the last presentation, we're so used to do that here, that hydration has been on the radar. We have, there's BioSteel out there that is very strong and still very strong in the market. There's other brands that are growing. I'm sure that you see the offers in different type, sachets and everything. What is coming that we are seeing on top of hydration? So if you have a wall, a 4-foot set and even bigger of hydration, mix that, but also the performance drink.
Right.
And performance drink, typically we're thinking about, Monster and all those drinks that are not natural and they have lots of caffeine and some sugar. Well, to the market now, and we started to distribute some of them, and you will see a lot more of that. There's a huge influence for those companies to create natural version of them. So we do have Eleni New that is coming to market to us. There's also even Rainstorm will be one product that Coca-Cola, who creates Rain and all of that, they looked at the market and they see that there's a demand for natural version of this.
So we're talking in this sense, not so much like a pre-workout powder. We're talking ready to
Strict
drink,
energy.
like actual
Strict energy. And I'll go back to the numbers because I wanted to give you example. But right now in the US, that energy category is $1.9 billion. And if you go in the US, go check any store and look at the size. And of course, right now it's like the sports nutrition mainly, but a lot of the health food store now, even there, they start to bring that in. The good thing for us in the natural industry is that, yes, we see popping up those products with natural ingredients. And what I would say is women's are looking for those products, but they want a more softer look.
Yeah.
And one thing that is good to note also in all that trends of drinks, right? You have the water with different type of flavor and anything that could be green tea that is still a performance enhancing, a little bit caffeinated. But everything water is down in sales. It is down in sales.
Right.
Yes. But everything that is more performance with that bit of caffeine in it is skyrocketing. Here in Canada, the category is growing at 21 point something percent.
Wow.
These are Nielsen data as well. So,
and when you consider the size of the American market, I mean, even a couple percent of that is huge.
Yes. So make sure that in that functional benefits that you have in your drinks, that you have a good assortment and don't focus just on the water. Absolutely bring in something more that will speak to those people who are looking for that more performance. And women, generally speaking, are looking to softer option of that caffeine. So the green teas, coffee beans, or that sort of products.
Yep.
But definitely the look is the first thing that you see.
Yeah.
And then the low sugar, no sugar cross into that category as well. So if there's one thing you remember from the whole conversation here, hydration. I would say as a distributor is a little bit of a pain because it's heavy and it's easy
Not
to
without complications.
No, exactly. But we didn't pull back from that. We know the market needs it, so we're avidly looking for all the best option, and we'll create even planograms to help you out on what a set should look like. What's the best mix to have everything. Within that performance category, if I take the hydration and all that away, still creatine, BCAA, EAs, protein, other source of proteins, more like we have whey that is still growing really fast, but other source that are not plants are also on the rise, sea moss and all of that kind of protein. So people are looking at other sources, but not necessarily plants.
Doesn't have to be a
exactly.
vegetarian source.
Yes. So make sure that your sports nutrition area exists and is full of hydration and all the options. Different look, different price point, but the different look is very important because different people are looking for to fill, fill with them.
Yeah.
Like, go with
Again, that customer base is just broadening right out.
Exactly.
I do want to add to that something you've heard many, many times over the last few years, but it's still going strong. And when we're in Anaheim, we saw it again, is just collagen. It's still going strong, and there's still just more and more to the market, and people are just eating it up. Like everybody's looking for a collagen. So don't be afraid to stay on that trend. It's still going.
What old is new all the time.
We're still in performance and healthy aging, but I want to talk a little bit about hormones and sexual health. Again, within CHFA West, man, we saw so much pink. Everybody was marketing to hormones and marketing to women, but it's not just about menopause anymore. It's really about whatever segment that individual is in within their life. We've got something to market to them. So it is important to make sure that in your sections, yes, you're marketing it heavily pink. Feel free to do it. It's happening a lot. But make sure you've got a little bit of something for everybody. Again, people are looking for that personalization. So if they're younger and they're looking for just something to balance those hormones and balance those moods, we've got something for that. If we're into perimenopause, we've got something to support that. Menopause, post, the whole thing. There's really segments that come across. No, I was just waving my hand.
Teasing you.
But I think sexual health is a big one too, especially in health. I think we just kind of dabbled in it and it wasn't very strong.
But now it's there.
It's growing and people are coming here to look for it.
Yes, absolutely. There's now Nixit that has their condoms. There's lubricant, different style, color, shape, ingredients. So there's a little bit of everything for everybody. And Erin Wellness just launched a new product, Lady Bits. So this is the name of the product.
Does a good job with
exactly. She always brings something that is kind of fun within to ease up the conversation for if somebody is a little bit shy still on this. But she has that full range of product that really help through any stage.
Yeah, this is a good line where they personalize.
Yes, for women's. And with this, I mean, it's fun. The quality of the product and the ingredients are really well searched, and I mean, it just creates fun also in the store in those conversations that sometimes are not so pleasant when women comes and they feel like, life has suddenly stopped in certain areas. Well, no, we have products for you. So that's
we can help. Good. We can support this.
Exactly.
And even something like lube, I find so interesting. Like in health food stores, you were lucky if you could find one for a long time. And now there's so many available on the market. I mean, even at Purity, I think we've got 3 or 4, maybe even 5 at this point. There's a lot of options and they're interesting. They're not boring, horrible packaging. Like they're nice stuff that's actually going to pop off of your shelf and that speaks to people, right?
Ultra personalization.
Ultra-personalization.
Yes. So we talked to you about, at the beginning on how to make it, wearables and how people wants to take care and ownership of their health. Well, they're also interested of having, and it started last year, we saw that wave coming with that personalization.
Yeah.
What about me?
Yes.
Like what you need is not what I need. Yeah, we all need magnesium, but what type of magnesium do I need, right?
Yeah.
So people are looking for that.
Yeah, they're looking for things specific to their own skin type. They're looking for things specific to their own DNA.
Yeah.
Even something as simple as, show me skincare that's good for the climate that we live in, that I live in. Anything that's going to make it personal and that's going to make somebody feel like, okay, yes, they're treating the box that I live in.
Exactly. And how can you apply that in your store? Because we see AI. Yes, there's beautiful machine AI. You can come and you say, scan my face. What do I need as product? But they're a bit expensive and they're not yet for, everybody, or maybe it's something that you don't want in your store. The best way to go about it is to have some personal appointment with offer that.
Yeah, I find this really interesting because I think the personalization idea, especially for those of you that have a brick and mortar store and actual people helping clients, we've been doing this for years. People
Yeah.
come in and they say, this is what I need. And then we say, okay, this fits you, this fits you, this fits you.
Yeah.
We know how to do this.
Yeah.
We've got to show it. So again, people
Going
looking
back
for that
to that.
personalization, they're looking for a whole basket. Like
Yeah.
treat me and make sure that it's what I need.
And I think that with COVID too, because there's less maybe people in the store, in the aisle to be able to help, we need to go back to that because people want that consultation where they will know for them. There's definitely a lot of online brands. I would tell you, I have a questionnaire to walk you through. Also that. So if you know that some brands are doing that, well, you can do the test with people.
Call
and
it
go
out.
through
Have that on your shelf, or have that next to the item online so that they
Absolutely.
can go. A brand like Antipodes Skincare, they've got a regime finder. Just give them the QR code. Go here, answer a few questions. They're going to say, okay, you need this product, this product, this product. Now you've got a basket size of 5 items that is specific to that person.
Yes.
They're very content with that. That's what people want.
Absolutely. Purpose-driven and certification, that didn't go away.
No.
We put it a little bit later because it needs to check many other boxes.
It's still huge. The sustainable, regenerative, upcycled.
Yes, we saw a lot in Anaheim.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah, lots of upcycled is definitely coming up. So is regenerative.
Yeah.
We're seeing it growing. It's important. The very younger generation that's coming up they're looking for those kind of call outs. It's not as important for them to be specifically certified, but they need to see the story. They need to see that the brand is making those choices and putting that product out with the thought to the environment and the overall health.
It's kind of a plus.
Yes.
Right? It's a big plus where the younger generation sometimes starts by there and then they decide the product where older generation will do the opposite. Does the product works for me? And then they say, oh, great, there's that certification, cruelty free, that is super important for me. So that is a plus.
Yeah. And we spoke of this a little bit before, but really it's that add-on. So find that good product. And if it has those things, that's the one you want to go with. That's the one that's going to jump off the shelf that people are going to grab because it has those added bonuses that they're looking for, those certifications.
Last but not least, before our TikTok segment.
Yes.
Efficacy over natural. Well, we say choose both.
Yeah. So again, a trend that we're seeing in a lot of the research that we were reading is, no surprise, efficacy is key. Efficacy is always key. But we need to make sure that we're showing and that we're educating everybody that efficacy doesn't have to mean that you can't have natural. We have so many great options in natural that are just as efficacious as anything that's in conventional. Think about that as you're stocking your shelves. There's a lot of brands out there that show you the scientific research that have all of that data. That's what people are looking for
Results.
In your stores.
Yeah, the before and after. You can even create your own before and after in the store when you have somebody that is willing to do that using a product. We're talking about face care, of course. Even the white strip for your teeth, it's great and to do that, to show that. But definitely even in the conventional, when we attended some conferences, they talk about their efficacy and they try to say they're natural, but they're really far from there. But so people are still looking, like your hair, when you wash your hair, you want a shampoo that is not giving you a straw style after. And we come a long way. So you can be confident, but we need to continue to educate our customers to be confident that they will get the same results by using the face care cream that has that vitamin C and all the other ingredients are natural. They're in good hands with our product as well. So it's just that education that it's good to shout out. Yeah.
So we want to spend our last few minutes with a special guest of ours, Cassandra Bois, who spends a lot of time on TikTok and and as such is going to run through some TikTok trends that she's seen and some natural options to go across with it.
And just to give her time to get set up here, TikTok, for those who are not watching it, there's a huge impact. We do see some trends that are coming, like we're at the office sometimes, and then there's a huge spike in sales for a SKU, and we're like, okay, let's go on TikTok. So usually we say, hey, Cassie, what's going on TikTok? And then we can definitely see what's happening. And so without further ado, we'll just pass it on to share some passion of yours.
Today, I kind of want to talk about why the importance of being on, and not limited to TikTok. Instagram is huge for this as well. But it's super, super important for retailers to make sure that they are present on social media. It doesn't mean you have to be creating content. That's scary. But making sure that you have somebody in your store, an ambassador of some sort that can kind of keep you in touch with what's going on social. Social media is what's feeding your customers
Yes.
what they're coming in to purchase. It's feeding them the trends. So if you're not on social media in some capacity, you're not keeping up with the trends that your consumers
You won't
are
be
seeing.
ready.
You
Yeah.
won't be relevant. Yeah. And what I also love about social media, TikTok and Instagram, is it helps keep things interesting. It gives you creative ideas that you can implement in store. So we'll talk about that more on the podcast about, the biggest beauty trends and how to translate that to natural, making end caps in your stores.
Yes.
And the Sephora impact.
The Sephora impact of like their power aisles. So we dig a bit more into that on the podcast. But I know I've heard a lot of feedback from retailers saying, yeah, but we've had to cut back on the amount of staff, so I don't really have anybody that I can pay to be on social media and doing that. It doesn't have to be that complicated. You can have somebody in store that's passionate about it, and you can compensate them in other ways. Give them an extra day off, give them a gift card
Some
in store,
products. Yeah.
give them some products. Brands would love to get products into your
Help you
your
out.
sales team's hands. Just reach out to them and say, hey, I have somebody on my floor that's talking about your brand with my customers. Can we hook them up with some product to compensate them? There's a million different ways.
I think even just recognizing what you have in front of you, right? Like a lot of times we already have an employee that knows all of this stuff. So
They're
take
very
the
passionate
time.
about it.
And
Yeah.
sometimes they're young and you might not recognize really what's right in front of you. But yeah, I mean, you have them. Oh, yeah, sorry.
So people are always nervous to how to jump in. How do I get started? And it's just as simple as getting on the app. Again, you don't have to get on TikTok, get on Instagram, and just start feeding whatever you feed it, it's going to give you back. So for instance, my entire FYP, my For You page is natural health products, top beauty trends, fashion, horses, cats.
You get bombarded with all of that.
That you search is what it's going to give you back.
Yeah, that's
so
how the
get on
algorithms
the
work.
app and just start putting things, and the algorithm's going to feed you back those trends within that category that you're looking at. So it doesn't need to be complicated, just get started. And again, find someone in your store that's passionate about it. So really quickly, I want to talk high level about current trends, especially on TikTok, because some of them are really fantastic for helping you increase your basket size at store level. One is the biggest one right now is called skin flooding. I don't know if you guys have heard this, but it's going back to people wanting to layer a ton of products on their face. So we're no longer just selling somebody a cleanser and a cream. They want a cleanser, a toner,
An oil.
serums, an oil, a face cream, a face mask, under eye patches. They want that whole regime. Skin flooding is one of the top trending categories on social media right now. And we have so many great products for that. Again, the Antipodes, they make really beautiful serums, creams, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. The masks.
The
Yeah.
masks. This is a big one. So this is one of the top conventional ones on TikTok right now. I don't know how to say it. It's
It is Dr. Denise Gross.
super expensive
Yes.
on top of that, and tons of microplastics, a lot of not natural ingredients.
Vitamin C.
They make incredible masks with all the same actives as things like this, but much better for the environment, much better for your skin. Natural oils, that's huge. Lip masks, lip glosses, lip scrubs. People are like,
Lips obsessed.
sort of Laneige or Summer Fridays.
Yeah.
Everybody and all their 10-year-old children are wanting that too. There's so many options in
Can you give us one last one for the room?
Yes.
natural. There's Pacifica makes lip glow sticks that give you that high gloss like Summer Fridays does. Perfumes. We have
Yeah.
so many options
Yeah.
from Pacifica, and they're relaunching. Their packaging is gorgeous.
So yeah, we'll have to
Check
wrap
out the
up.
podcast
Yes.
we've got. It's going to give you more because there's great ways that you can put these comparison ones on your shelf
Yeah.
and make sure that you're capturing all of that.
And we told you we have lots more. So we'll feed you everything. There's so much more trend, and Sephora is another big discussion that we need to have. So thank you again
Thanks
for
for coming.
being here.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, and enjoy the show.